few months ago, the Chainsaw Man movie was released. And I mean, it looked alright. Like, I'm sure the movie is good, but I'm not sure if it will be that good, right? Yeah! Okay, so fair to say, this movie was like really damn good. And I think to explain why, we need to first start, of course, with the art style. Now, this movie no longer looks like season 1, where we have the overly animated scenes of people walking, or Aki just enjoying his Saturday morning newspaper like a boring goon, catching up on the latest strip of the Epitone Femboy series. Wait, what the fuck? But the art style in this movie takes a much looser approach, which serves multiple different purposes. For one, it is more manga accurate, which for some people is a really good thing. But for myself personally, I don't really care as long as it looks good. The anime can take as many creative freedoms as it wants as long as it manages to produce actually good content along with it. Even being somebody that actually read the manga prior to this video, I still really do not give a shit. But regardless, I still actually really like the more manga accurate art style in this movie, because there is so much movement and so many color changes made throughout this movie that it was needed. Not to mention that when you try to make an art style as cinematic and as perfect as season 1, you tend to run into some problems. And despite the rest of the show flowing like smooth butter, those standout moments just highlight themselves all the more. So for the sake of this movie, I believe changing the art style to something that's more adaptable is one really big reason why it managed to thrive. So for all the people who said that the art style in this movie was bad because it no longer looked like season 1 and the art style isn't perfected to an absolute T for every single freaking frame, take your glizzy, go home, and shove it up your ass! But the main element that makes this movie work so well is the pacing. Because we start off with this familiar vibe that we all have come to expect from Chainsaw Man. Power being up to her usual shenanigans of not wanting to leave the Gooner cave, Denji simping for Makima for the smallest reason because Gooner, the fucking Toyota Camry showing up a million times like it's the IRS trying to collect my taxes again. The usual. But the moment the movie begins to shift is when Reze, the philosopher major, is introduced. The fuck is this walk? And what follows is the stereotypical slice-of-life rom-com where Denji slowly falls for Reze, me and brocore, until eventually the story takes yet another turn. Because when Reze is cornered at the roof of the school by a parasocial fan, what ends up being terrifying about this situation isn't the fact that this guy is a psychopath. It's not the fact that Reze is suddenly Black Widow out of nowhere, but it's the fact that Reze suddenly transforms from her cheery, friendly, carefree attitude into a cold and calculated one when she sings the Russian anthem, looking at us like we just took a bite of her fries. And here's a little lesson about women. You do not take their fucking fries. But that's all good, because we just immediately go back to the taste of happiness that we have all gone to be familiar with at this point. I mean, ignorance is bliss, and Denji and Reze are just gonna continue developing their love. They're gonna kiss during the stereotypical anime fireworks scene, and then I swear I can fix her, bro. But luckily for Denji, Beam, my great white king, comes to save him before he gets his heart ripped out by the crazy ex-girlfriend. And what follows the rest of this movie is just the most diabolical and long-winded action sequences that I have seen in my life, featuring the greatest me and brocore since Dragon Ball Super, and a fight sequence that I, honest to God, liked so much that it made me feel the same way I felt when I saw the Sukuna vs Mahoraga fight. But the main difference I would say here is that the fight is obviously on a lower scale, but the art style is so much more refined. Mappa, my slavery studio king, was just so consistent all the way through. And even when making this video and having rewatched this scene for like the 10th time at this point, it just still blows me away. I also like how Denji actually learns how to properly use his chainsaws in this fight and manages to overcome Reze with this development, showing us that he is not just a gooner, but a gooner with a brain. because every other method that he has tried up to this point has gotten him bombed, like my KD ratio in Night Rain. Get my freaking show! But eventually, when all is said and done, Denji actually does try to run away with Reze. You cannot fix her, bro! And though she is initially reluctant, she later comes back to the same cafe where they first met. But we also know that this is where the saddest part of the movie happens, because despite what she wants, Makima has been watching over them the entire time and has decided that Reze at this point is nothing more than a liability. In an ending so sad that even the creator himself said that he didn't like the way it was written. Like, dude, you literally wrote this! What are you talking about? In a nutshell, that is basically the pacing of this movie. But I feel like the biggest thing that truly wraps this movie together as being one of the greatest, most shell-shocking movies of all time is the dynamic between Denji and Reze themselves. Because as much as I describe these segments as stereotypical rom-com-esque sections, they actually give us a bit of realism into Denji's current situation. Reze's concern over the fact that a lot of things he goes through are just simply glossed over, and that's just simply because it's all he knows. All he knows is how to goon and kill devils. He's never gone to school, never had a family, never gone go-karting, or even raged at a football game. I mean, that's fine though. After all, it was for the greater good of humanity that the devils be killed. But what if we peeled back the curtains a bit and just simply asked ourselves, what would be best for the characters and not just society at large? Because that is exactly the question that Reze brings up to Denji, a reality where she and him can finally live a normal life. And maybe then she can save him from his gooner life where he sells his kidneys for Spotify Premium, and Denji can fix her, bro. But you see, the main reason this dynamic works so well is because Reze ultimately understands exactly what Denji is going through. She is a Russian spy. She wants Denji's heart and is going to take it without consent. But she also did not go to school. She never even raged at a football game. All she learned was how to do zero-arm push-ups in the Soviet Union. She and Denji are basically the same, so she ends up growing attached to him. But by the end of this movie, we are shown what could have been and what was ultimately taken away because of Makima's gooners transporting her with Uber Premium. And what tied this explosive masterpiece together was the music. I mean, come on. Firstly, it brings back the similar vibe that we had with the first Chainsaw Man intro that we have come to love and expect, because they managed to bring back Kenshi Yonezu. And they also managed to capture a variety of funny moments, sad moments, wondrous moments, me and bro moments, capturing them with so much art, precision, and creativity that I honestly forgot that this was a Gooner movie. Everything in this movie is just captured with perfection. But most of all, what the music manages to capture perfectly is the balls to the walls action that we have come to expect with Chainsaw Man at this point. And with all these reasons and a lot more, this is why I can say with the utmost confidence that the Chainsaw Man Reze movie rightfully earned the ratings, love, and respect that it deserves. Once again, being someone who actually read the manga before seeing the movie for once, I can honestly say that this movie did it justice and then grew its potential into something exponentially greater. The movie isn't perfect, but you would be hard-pressed to find me having legit critiques about it, outside of some minor nitpicks such as other characters feeling sidelined for the most part. But in all honesty, I'm pretty curious to see what you guys think about this movie in the comments down below, because honestly, I'm pretty stumped with this one. If you for some reason haven't seen this movie already, I highly recommend giving it a watch. But for now, enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for watching.